And welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And there's so many fun things that you can do right now just to feel like, wow, I'm kind of handy. I'm kind of creative. I'm kind of loving this.
I'm actually staying out in my yard and enjoying things and staying out of the house.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That's what summer's about.
So we have just dozens of great projects, even if you don't think that you are handy, some fun things that you can easily do to enjoy outside, inside, and just the summer overall. Some just great projects.
Absolutely mundo.
So you love to do...
word? Absolutely mundo?
Absolutely mundo.
That's pretty good.
So talk about, you have done a lot of this outdoor theater stuff. I mean, that is such a given for summertime.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, you can actually create a little mini drive-in movie screen either A, by using a blank canvas, or you can use a painter's tarp, which I've done, where you just hang it off of the, the eaves. You know, it's an 8x10 tarp. They can get even bigger. You could even, if you're handy with a sewing machine, attach a bunch of them together and make it even bigger. And then these projectors now are awesome because you can plug them into your computer, run the movie from Netflix off of that into this thing, with some external sound. And man, you got yourself a drive-in. And just bring some pillows from the inside, utilize the lawn chairs, get some blankets, a bowl of popcorn, candles, bam, done. Drive-in. Putting your, doing the fake yawn, and then slowly lowering your arm around your best buddy. Give him her a little hug, after maybe a beer and a half. This is a big night.
It's great. And then, of course, you have to have, not only gourmet popcorn, right? But I love the idea of creating affordable, finally, movie candy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
As opposed to that box of candy, of Milk Duds that was $10.99?
$475.
But that's kind of a fun thing to do.
Isn't that great?
Very easy to do. And like you say, the projector thing, I mean, it's such a solution for this.
I know. And, my son's doing this with his girlfriend now, where he uses that projector in his room and then takes all the pictures off the wall and just projects it onto a blank wall, right? So
it's like art on the moving art.
Exactly. So
nice.
He plays movies too in the room, right?
Oh, nice.
So he's got a huge screen. Those projectors are great. You should definitely take a look at them online if you can. They're wonderful things.
Very good idea. Yeah. All right. So now another thing that you might want to consider, especially if you have kids, you can grow almost what would look like a Dr. Seuss garden, and it's these tall plants that they almost look like little tufts.
They look like lollipops.
They look like lollipops,
Yeah,
and they're called alliums. And the tuft is almost like a candy ball, and it's in a bright purple.
Isn't that great?
And it just stands erect on this little tip, and they're about 4 feet tall.
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, a field of those or a little garden bed of those are just gorgeous. Those are something else. I love them.
And so we also have considered the whole idea of turning a basic outdoor table, whether it's you name it, just a picnic table, any kind that you have.
Sure.
To make that, we've talked about in the past turning the center into a planter. How about cutting out a center divider and now making that your instant bar, where you're going to fill it, you're going to put a little container inside the hole that you now have created. Right?
Yeah, you would just drop, a galvanized little tray of some sort, right?
Tin can of some kind.
That goes right underneath the table, drops in, and put the ice in there, and then a couple of beers. Wow, what a thing. You're just sitting there talking. Oh, I'm just going to reach here in the center of the table, pull this beer out and open it up.
Or you could also use it for wine.
Yeah.
Or sodas, anything you like.
Even some of the food that you're serving, it can
Shrimp.
be... Hello.
Just fill it up with ice.
Shrimp and beer. That's a picnic right there, I'll tell you.
I definitely love the idea, because now you can change it out. I mean, in the summertime, it could be, like you say, it's your bar for entertaining, and then maybe in the fall.
Yeah.
Now you have other decor in there.
Sure.
I mean, it just changes
our
out.
friend Matt Sandercock did the old shrimp for 4th of July. He did the shrimp on the brown paper, and then, bashed it with a hammer. You'd open up the shells. They do the crawfish as well. That sounds fun.
Well, it's a big Louisiana trend that they're doing.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
I also love the idea of turning a basic fence, or like wooden door gate you have, into now this decorative marble art. Have you seen this, where you put marbles in the wood?
So what do? You drill a hole.
You drill holes.
And then so that lets light through.
So now it becomes stained glass.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Isn't it kind of cute?
Yeah, because all you need to do is get a drill bit the size of the diameter of the marble.
Yeah.
Drill through the fence, which is going to be easy because that's really soft wood. That's, probably cedar is what you're going to have. and then just poke the marble through, and then the light comes through, and you got this beautiful thing. It looks like
fireflies,
like a great church in Italy, for crying out loud. It's
wonderful.
Just your fence. And the good news is you can occasionally poke those marbles out and spy on your neighbor.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you, do we need to glue the marbles in there?
Probably not. They'll if you do the drill bit just slightly undersized. Mm-hmm. And then you got to put the marble in with a little bit of pressure. It should be fine.
Now, I love the idea of converting an old bunk bed into like a stargazing lounge.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Can you walk us through this? I mean, because the idea is to create an elevated thing so you're up high.
Now, I got to tell you, I did a lot of these loft beds in college. I was like the go-to guy to make the bed
in the dorm
room to raise the bed up, put the desk underneath.
Yeah.
And then, you got your sleeping pad up on the top, man.
Were you charging people for this?
Yeah, heck yeah, I was. Are you kidding me? Paid for, pitchers of beer.
Good.
But yeah, so it's the same principle where you're just building a little loft kind of a situation, and then you have candles up on top, maybe a couple of little cute lawn chairs. Paint it, a whimsical color, maybe even put curtains underneath so it can be a little secret fort for the kids. And it can just turn into a place where the perception is that you're climbing up the little ladder. Even though you're only like 5 feet in the air, it seems like you're closer to the stars. That gives you an enchanted night with your kid.
Very, very magical. I love that.
And also a great place for the teenagers to go make out.
Cute.
You can't see them as easily. This is a world I live in now, so, here we go. All these dark corners end up being makeout spots where I got to shine a light in there and go, hey, get out of here.
And don't forget a ladder, too. You have a cute little ladder.
You got to be able to get up there.
Yeah. Now, this is something that I love the idea of backyard games. We've talked about this before, but if you don't already have a larger-than-life patio floor Scrabble board, really great project, very, very fun. And, I mean, the idea is now you can turn little square letter tiles, from baseboard trim, and it can become a really cute way to have a 5-foot square Scrabble board.
That's pretty cool. I don't know why Scrabble, for my family, becomes really happening in the summer. Like, this is what we do at night. It seems, why don't you do this in the fall or in the winter when it's you're by the fire? For some reason,
it's a summer thing.
Brings out the Scrabble in the family. I don't know, but our spelling goes up in the summer, and then of course during the winter months we have to use spell check. That's basically how it goes.
Great. But I mean, how would you recommend we make these little tiles?
Well, the tiles could be done several ways. You could either get 4x4 ceramic tiles from the big box store then get a Sharpie and then just write it on those.
Perfect.
And that's cool because they can sit outside if it rains, no problem.
That's great.
You could also do them in wood and cut, a piece of 1x4 stock into squares if you've got a little chop saw, and then, same thing, Sharpie or paint or whatever you want to do. And then you just get a traditional Scrabble board and, bring the pieces out and then match those pieces to the amount and the letters that are available as well.
Yeah.
And then the square could be done either just on the ground, you could, draw little paint lines on a concrete slab, or you could do it with tape, or, there's many different ways. But you're just emulating a real Scrabble board. Same deal. So,
but I think I like the idea of just using tiles.
I think it's easy.
Why not? Just get white tiles, Sharpie, done.
It's like those big chess games that you play outside. Those are kind of fun, too.
Very, very fun. Yeah. Now, we've talked about creating instant fire pits, right?
Yeah.
And this is really easy. I mean, building a stone fire pit.
If you have big enough blocks that are manageable and easy to, put in the back of your car from the store, carry them to the place, and then just stack them. As long as you stagger the joints and you don't, and it's called a running bond pattern. So, say, for example, you have 3 bricks laying on end. You just put the next course up so that you're alternating grout joints, right? And then that'll give you sort of a locked-in feel, and there doesn't have to be mortar. If they're heavy enough, they're not going to go anywhere. And then within that, you can dump some play sand on the bottom.
Perfect.
And then go ahead and put, maybe some bigger stones, and then on top of that, your wood. And then it's just a pit that you've created. You don't have to really do much of anything except set it on fire.
Or how about if you didn't want to do that, that was too extravagant, really a cheap fire pit where you use, like we've talked about in the past, a gel fuel, and you find any kind of metal mesh, and you have some cheap glass frames, some small rocks, and a metal planter with a little bit of a lip.
Yeah.
And then you just adhere with some marine silicone, the glass. So you have your 4 walls.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
The rocks are then covering up the gel fuel. It's a tabletop cool little
that's
fire.
kinda cool.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, it
anyway,
is.
we have some more DIY projects.
Let's put that one on the website
We are.
for the folks. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to walk you through it. Don't you worry, we have some more fun, easy DIY summer projects that are going to make you go, wow, I did that. I can't believe it.
That's right.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards. So if Eric isn't in the studio, and if he isn't doing a project, and if he isn't with his family, and if he isn't in the kitchen, he just might be taking a nap in a hammock.
What do you mean just might be? He is. There's no question. Yeah, I'll tell you. There's these big day beds that you see where they're selling them at the outdoor furniture stores.
Yes.
With the mattress and the pillows.
Very alluring.
Just so great, right? Well, imagine then if you take it to the next level and you create that same kind of a thing, but you make a bigger hammock that hangs inside of a structure.
Like a gazebo almost.
Kind of a gazebo. If you have a gazebo already, or some kind of an outdoor pergola, all you have to do is tie off four corners of a large piece of material of some sort, hammock kind of a material even the mesh. And to make it a little more rigid, you can kind of add a little framing around it with PVC, believe it or not.
Really?
That flexes and gives you that sort of half shape. And you're doing little spines. And you're weaving that stuff together either by using PVC glue and creating with the connectors, all the mesh framework by using right angle connectors.
Oh, that's way better.
Which is kind of cool because it flexes, and then your materials on top of that. You can even use some, outdoor foam with that Umbrella fabric, and you're tying it off with four corners, and it gently sways. Stay with me here. Gently sways back and forth. Shh, listen. It's just swaying. You're laying there. Pretty soon you're asleep like a little baby.
Oh, by the way, that's Eric Stromer, and I'm Cindy Dole, and this is Home Wizards, and we're talking you through some fun DIY summer projects like relaxing in a giant hammock.
I can't imagine anything better. I love the hammock. It works for me.
And then the key, though, to make sure that whatever we do, that we create this wonderful thing, we tie it up, and then we take a nap, and we don't want to fall to the ground.
Sure.
How do we know that it's going to secure and be able to hold our heft?
Well, you got to test it out by hanging a little bit low. You don't want it too high, and you want to make sure that you're prepared if it does in fact fall. You're ready for it. And then once you tie it off effectively, it'll be just fine. Don't worry about it whatsoever. Just do it. And you know where I was first turned on to the old concept of the hammock? Gilligan's Island.
Oh, see?
Skipper and Gilligan had shared a little space there. They both had hammocks.
Great idea.
That's when I realized I had to have one.
Got to have one.
Yeah.
Got to live like the TV dream, right?
You know it.
How about going camping in the backyard, just using a tent and pillows? I mean, if you already are a camper, but now turn it into more of a palatial, kind of a Moroccan destination.
It's your own little Bedouin getaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks just like, you create
with
like
an
a little
ottoman.
harem, basically.
Exactly. You have a lot of outdoor candles and
rugs. Of
rugs.
It's not like a harem of, a bunch of girls and you. No, it's your kids and their friends, and you're sitting there probably eating marshmallows and hanging out.
That's great.
But you can create, these little... Again, you can, if you have your own tent from camping, for example, you can create that.
That's the shelter.
Erect it. That's your little shelter on the inside. Some Persian rugs, some throw pillows. Hopefully you can break out those genie pants, or if you're a guy in the 80s and you wore those weightlifting pants that were real fluffy looking.
Perfect.
Same thing. Just wear those sans a shirt, and sit there and do a lot of and drink hot tea.
Sounds great. How about, I know you're a trampoline family.
I have a trampoline.
Have you ever considered using a trampoline instead of a diving board in a pool?
Yes, it's all been done. There have been trampoline experiences where we get the height, and then we've moved the trampoline over close to the pool.
You have to think about safety.
Now, this is so dangerous that it's basically like an accident waiting to happen. But if you have your friends and neighbors sign the waiver before they show up, the insurance waiver, sure, go for it. However, having said that, this works best when the trampoline is sunk in the ground.
That's what I meant, like just level with the pool itself, as opposed to you're like way 50 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
I meant like you're like really low and the pool is super deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now
as long as you have that situation, and I'll tell you, that pool or that trampoline thing in the ground is unbelievable. If you can go the extra, a couple $100 it's going to cost to have somebody dig out a hole in your lawn.
Oh, how big of a hole do you need?
Well, exactly the size of the trampoline.
Oh,
the right way,
the depth, though.
the right way to do it is to, pour a little slab down on the bottom with a drain so that you can, wick away the water when it rains. That's a little more extensive, but man, getting those trampolines low means that if they fly off, they're just landing on the lawn.
Right.
Versus like,
concrete.
10, 15 feet in the air if you're high enough, right?
Right.
So you got to be careful. But I'll tell you, I think it made my kids better athletes and more coordinated to be able to spin and be in the air and be comfortable with it. And
aware of your space.
And it wears them out, so they go to sleep sooner.
Great.
Hopefully.
How about turning something as simple as a whiskey barrel that you can find at one of the big box stores for $30, and then get a glass table topper for maybe under $10. You can find that at Bed Bath & Beyond, or maybe go to a glass shop.
Sure.
And now you have an instant DIY outdoor table. Fill in the blanks, whatever you like, inside. You could put any kind of collectible, shells.
Great.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, it's great because, you're looking down through the glass. Then the container essentially is the base of the table. And, like you said, anything can go in there. I think that's a beautiful idea.
And then, put some candles on top.
And, you guys got to take advantage of these glass shops. I mean, those guys will do anything that you ask them, and they can cut any shape and size. And it's amazing. And polish the edges. You can have, relatively inexpensive tops for any table situation, and end up probably being a lot less than the stuff at the stores.
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
How about building a simple bar for entertaining? Now, work with me here. This is very, very fun because the idea is you're coming up with an idea for your outdoor entertaining. You're going to affix this to the wall. Right? And the idea is, let's say you have a patio area, or maybe you have a pool deck, or maybe, all you have is a little corner. The idea is you're making an outdoor bar that's the perfect place, and you have, basically you use a little shelving unit that you might have. I've seen this actually on Pinterest. The idea is you use a mahogany wood piece of shelving, and then you might even stain it. And then to protect it, maybe put some Rust-Oleum on it. And the idea is you now connect that to the wall, and you have an instant little bar. Very, very cute.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that can either hang off of masonry. And
with some brackets, right?
And, you can use brackets, and they actually sell brackets that go in grout joints of masonry that are sort of, tension kind of a hanging scenario that goes in the grout joint.
So you have the flapper that goes up and down.
Yeah. Or you can drill into the grout joint with a masonry drill bit, and then put wall anchors in, and then hang it off of the wall anchors. But yeah, it's great to, like we talk about all the time, you utilize your perimeter fence or your interior house or garage walls as an outdoor living wall, which can hold not only art but also functional items like this bar we're talking about, and then it can fold up and be out of the way.
And you can then drill some holes. So with the fold out shelf, can become now a desktop to do your serving, and then use some sisal rope to have that be the connector for the latch the up and down.
Yeah, that's it. And I do like the idea of, some of these more exotic woods are great for outdoors, like, ipe. Very expensive, but beautiful. You don't have to do anything. It can rain for 100 years, and it'll be impervious to insects and wood rot. So that's a great choice. If you don't have much of a budget, you can do it in things like redwood. It's a softer wood, but it still looks good and it'll work outdoors. But, just again, it's imagining different planes and spaces in your yard, your garage walls, your fences, and utilize that for more decorative things that are functional.
How about making an outdoor chalkboard for the family to play? This could be the place for hangmen, or for the kids just to express themselves.
I have a huge bucket of chalk, outdoor chalk, and my kids they fill the entire cement in the backyard with art from the chalk. I've gotten probably hours of entertainment from that. So even if you just get the bucket of chalk, it's amazing what happens. Because
once you have the chalk, you've got to have the chalkboard paint,
there
right?
You go.
And you could start with maybe a plywood for the hard surface, and some tempered hardboard, for the nice smooth finish, and then put some chalkboard paint on it, and boom, there you go.
Right next to the play structure, there you go. You got your chalkboard and your play structure, and then you throw out some snacks, maybe even some cheese sticks. Bye-bye, kids. You get a whole hour off.
What about repurposing some old windows to make a mini greenhouse?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
we've seen that a lot. That's cute, where they actually use the old window sash configurations of windows for the top of a structure that you create on an angle, and then you just
storm windows.
There
even.
you go.
Yeah.
Put it on hinges, and then you can open it up and water your plants. Close it. The sun goes through the glass.
Very, very clever. Yeah. And now this is now not just for kids. This is for mom and dad.
Yeah.
And for adults to play. So now you can create a little area for all of your gardening, and maybe even have a wine tasting there.